the goat thief of Umudike. In the heart of the old land, far beyond the whispering palms and the rustling plantain groves, lay the village of Umudike, a place of ancestral pride and quiet dignity. The people were hardworking, bound together by custom and kinship, tilling the red earth and raising livestock, as their forefathers had done for generations. Life in Umudike was simple, but it was good. That was until Nwoke began his stealthy descent into disgrace. Nwoke was not born a thief. In fact, his father, Pa Udena, was once the most respected yam farmer in all of Umudike. He owned vast tracts of farmland and was often seen under the sun, hoe in hand, teaching his only son the sacred ways of the land. But when Pa Udena died suddenly after a bout of fever, the young boy, barely 15, was left with no guidance, no inheritance, and no kin close enough to take him in. He wandered for a while, sleeping under bamboo sheds, doing odd jobs, and stealing bits of roasted maize and suya from roadside stalls. It started small, leftover food from the backs of women's trays, pawpaws from trees that leaned too close to footpaths. But before long, hunger hardened into habit, and habit became a lifestyle. By the time Nwoke turned 20, he had become a shadow in Umudike. His name was whispered like a curse behind closed doors. Goats that once grazed freely began vanishing in the night. Yams mysteriously disappeared from barns, their ropes cut clean with a practiced hand. Plantains, too, whole bunches, would be missing come morning, with fresh footprints leading toward the bush path that curved toward the next village. Yet no one ever caught him. He was clever, that much was true. Nwoke never stole from the same compound twice in a row. He watched patterns, waited for moonless nights, and used dogs' barks as warnings rather than deterrents. He sold the stolen goods in distant markets, pretending to be a humble trader from another clan. With the money he earned, he dressed in fine shirts and walked with the arrogance of someone who had never known lack. But his luck began to fray one Harmattan morning. It was the season of dust, when dry winds danced through the trees, and villagers stored their best yams in barns high above ground. Mama Obi, an old widow known for her sharp tongue and sharper eyes, awoke before the rooster crowed. She heard the soft creak of her barn door. She stayed still, her eyes sharp behind the thatch window, and saw him tall, lean, dark-skinned, moving like a cat. It was Nwoke. She didn't shout. Not then. She waited until he left with 2 tubers of yam and crept back into the bush path. Then she sounded her gong, waking the whole village. The thief has come again. But this time I saw him. I saw Nwoke. By morning, the village square was buzzing. A council of elders was summoned. Men sharpened machetes and pounded yam with unusual aggression. Children ran barefoot, carrying the news from one end of the village to the other. It took 2 days to catch him. The elders laid a trap. They borrowed a plump goat from Chief Dyke's pen and tied it near a hut known to be abandoned. Then they waited. That night, Nwoke came like always, wrapped in a dark wrapper, barefoot, face covered in soot. He crept toward the goat, knife in hand, only for 3 strong men to leap from the shadows. He fought like a wild animal, biting, kicking, but was soon overpowered. They dragged him into the village square before dawn. The people gathered, some with canes, others with curses. The elders stood in a circle, solemn and silent. "You have brought shame upon this land," said Elder Nwoke, his voice rough as gravel. "You have stolen from your brothers and sisters. You have fed your belly with their sweat." Nwoke, bruised and bloodied, didn't beg. He didn't cry. He only looked up with defiance. "If I had work, I wouldn't steal," he spat. "If my father hadn't died, I would be a landowner today." But his words fell on hardened hearts. The people had lost too much. It was not just about the goats or the yams. It was the fear, the loss of trust, the insult of being preyed upon by one of their own. The punishment was swift and brutal. He was tied to the iroko tree in the square, and each elder was allowed 3 strokes of the cane. They flogged him until his back ran with blood. Then, as the sun reached its peak, the town crier stood and declared, "By the will of the elders and the spirits of our ancestors, Nwoke is hereby banished from Umudike. Let him walk the earth and carry his shame. If he is seen within these borders again, let death find him swiftly. With nothing but a torn wrapper and swollen limbs, Nwoke limped out of the village. His eyes never turned back.